and here we go.
There's the W. Here's ignition.
Roger, roll, Atlantic. Doubling up.
Did it just do a Kerbal?
Back to the moon and beyond.
Hey, y'all, we don't have time for a full intro today because Ship 39 is rolling out, or has rolled out, of Mega Bay 2 and is rapidly approaching Highway 4 before it heads out to the Massey's test site for its static fire test, a test campaign that we have been waiting for a very, very long time. I apologize for the sudden and very short intro, but my name is Max Evans, and I am a spaceflight content producer here at NSF. And freaking look at this! Look at this! It's Ship 39! Look at how clean it looks! Just look at it! Just look at it. This is why we had to cut to a short intro, because Alex, who is also joining me on commentary today,
Hi.
Alex. Okay, first impressions and first thoughts. Ship 39 looks incredible. What are you seeing? Like, what are your thoughts?
Well, a lot more complete than the last time we saw it, right? And then also, first things first, those patches of tiles on the leeward side, and also not just on the leeward side of the main body, but also on the leeward side there, as you can see, of the flaps, of the aft flaps at the bottom. So yeah, quite a weird looking ship, I guess. More testing, I guess, for that heat shield for those tiles. It's gonna be interesting.
That's certainly a word for it. But I think there are so many details here that we didn't see last time, and like as we were covering before we went live, the leeward side of the aft flaps are currently covered in heat shield tiles, like well beyond what we saw with Ship 38. On Flight 11, which already had a lot on them, but this is just a whole another level. And of course, obviously on top of the other patches going up the hull of the ship, and the raceway covers themselves also look much more complete than they did before.
Yeah, they're installed at the very least.
Right.
Yeah, the actual rollout, it was everything.
Yeah, right.
Out there.
We had like a front row view to all of the plumbing on there, and it was a remarkable sight. So my word,
the aft docking port covers as well, they are there as well. They're only covers. I don't see any actual hardware for anything for docking or whatever. But just like Max, we saw this with V2, right? They started flying mock-up versions of the catch pins to be able to test them through reentry. Unfortunately, some of those mock-up versions did not fare well because of the ships sort of losing control and whatnot. But they were able to test that on flights 10 and 11, right? And now they're actually flying those and using them and everything. So same deal with these. I'm guessing that they're going to be flying just the covers themselves and then fly the full thing. I don't know if Caesar might be able to go up here in this view, but the forward flaps also weird on the leeward side. I didn't see them very shiny either. There we go.
Shall receive. Hey, boy, Caesar.
Yeah, shout out to Caesar. He's out there in the field taking these views that you can see of Ship 39 as it rolls to Massey's for its own static fire test campaign.
Yeah, and by the way, y'all, because I'm sorry, I've been just so enamored by how quickly the ship approached the road, I completely forgot to say that Caesar will be in the field with us tonight with this camera, giving us the best views possible of Ship 39 and potentially also Booster 19, depending on what it wants to do later into the window. But also behind the scenes, pushing the buttons and pulling the levers is the one and only Kevin Michael Reed. It was a rather insane pivot from the wild and tedious. Well, tedious is the wrong word, but just a lot of just pretty much 24/10 coverage that we were doing with the Artemis 2 mission, and such is the insane state of the modern day space age. We are immediately pivoting to some Starship activity in Starbase, Texas, and of course this is Ship 39, but also the possibility of seeing Booster 19 also rolling out to the launch site as well before 4 a.m. Central Time in the U.S. to begin its own static fire campaign with all 33 Raptor engines. So, yeah, it's been a rather insane night here. And also, after this, we have the launch of Falcon 9 and the Cygnus spacecraft on the CRS NG-24 resupply mission to the International Space Station. good golly, it is just an insane time to be alive to have all this happening in such close proximity. But as
It's funny.
What? Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Kevin. I'm gonna throw you under the bus. You have Booster 19 on the top left.
Oh my God, he does, Kevin. Oh my gosh.
There are not a lot of people awake right now watching. So, but hey, whoever is out there, thanks for watching. This is the kind of things that you see. There you go. Not Booster
like this
19.
is like NSF after hours, like no filter, just giving it to you straight or humorously, whatever we're feeling right now. We're just giddy to see a ship rolling out of Mega Bay 2 and out towards Massey's. Look at how clean that heat shield looks, dude.
Yeah.
Honestly,
For people
that looks
asking.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, because I'm already seeing a few people asking in chat, can we see the engines? Can we see the engines? Unfortunately, as much as Caesar might try or do whatever, you can't, because there's a platform there that's in the way, sort of to access underneath the ship, right? And so it's in the way. You would not be like, even if you tried. The only way to see the engines right now will be sort of get in the stand and down there under the ship.
Hey, Alex, I think Kevin corrected himself there in the top left there. Have you seen it? Alex?
The what?
You see that Kevin corrected himself in the top left there?
Yeah, not Booster 19 now.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so also, folks, I know this is a very late hour for a lot of people, especially those here in the U.S., but if you have any questions in chat, feel free to tag us at NASASpaceflight or at NSF, and we will get to your questions as soon as we can get to them. Well, I say that. The panel is currently not working for me, Kevin. I'm still working on getting it to work. I'm so sorry. But once we have that up and running, we will get to your questions as we can. But, Alex, as we're seeing Ship 39 roll down Highway 4 right now towards Massey's, what exactly has Ship done or gone through since the last time we saw it? And how do we know what's up or what's upcoming for it next?
Well, I'm gonna answer the last one question, right, and do the first, sort of like what NASA officials tend to do. It's always the last question, the easier one to answer. So, because we've seen this in the past, right? It's not our first ship. It's called Ship 39 for a reason, right?
Yeah.
And so we've seen in the past, usually the way that it goes is they build a thing, right? They stack it, they get ready and everything, and then it goes out first for a round of cryoproof testing, where, as the name implies, they load cryogenics on the vehicle, they proof the tanks, they are able and make sure that all of their valves and everything, all of it works, and there are no leaks and everything, right? Basically that it was built so that it doesn't leak or anything like that. Right, then it comes back to the bay. It gets its engines and comes out to do its its static fire test campaign, which is what we're expecting, hopefully in the next few days. But that's basically what we think will happen here. That it probably got its engines. There were a few engines being seen going into Mega Bay 2 a few weeks ago, so it probably got its engines, and now it's on the engine test stand. Like the stand itself, sort of already gives away what it's going out for, because that's the stand that they use for static fire testing. Now, to be fair, the last time it was on this stand, it was actually for a cryo test round, because it was a bit of a special cryo testing that they did out at the static fire area at Massey's, sort of like a one-off sort of thing. Normally they have a special stand for that sort of thing with rams that sort of test the thrust of the engines against the aft of the vehicle. But for that particular round of cryoproof testing, they did that on the regular static fire stand. There's another stand being built that looks just like this, that actually has the rams, but that one is not there. That's not the one that this ship is using. So yeah, many reasons to think that yes, it got engines, and we're gonna see it being tested hopefully in the next few days.
I think.
Hey, chat. Max is telling me that the panel's not working. Can you all just tag at NSF and send some messages? Because I know for a fact that Mr. Fluffy has already sent a $5 super chat saying, "Man, what a day! What a week! Yeah. Artemis, Flight 12, Booglin soon. Let's go!"
Are you calling me a liar, Kevin Michael Reed?
Yeah, because I was
Kevin,
able to get the panel to work.
Kevin, I'm telling you, I'm trying to refresh the page right now, and it's still not working.
That's because it's 1:44 in the morning on the East Coast, and we've been live for 9 hours before that, and 10 days before that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And 24/7
Thanks, Mr.
before
Fluffy.
that on Starbase Live and Space Coast Live as well.
And then whatever these vehicles do, because remember, I said Ship 39 goes out to Massey's static fire test campaign. There's already, I think it's a TFR or a note. I don't remember exactly what kind of notice it was. It's a notice for activities that they're going to be doing at Massey's. I believe it starts on April 11th, if I'm not mistaken, which is today. Yeah, I'm dreading already that they may actually go with testing tonight, like within the next 24 hours. In the meantime, we're covering here, Max, that Ship 39 rollout, right? But the top left, I was sort of throwing Kevin under the bus because he had Booster 19. We were also expecting perhaps.
But it's not Booster 19.
It is not right now.
Not.
It might be later today. They still have until 4 a.m. for that rollout. Booster 19 also being placed on its transport stand to head out to Pad 2 and do its own campaign for static firing, basically. We don't know how many tests they're going to be doing out there. Same with Ship 39. But we're basically here for a quite active week in the next few days, basically. Of
I feel like
testing left, right, and center.
I feel like we've been saying that like all year, just to prepare like ourselves for what could have been happening within like a 2 or 3 month period of time, and we're going through that now just within a singular month.
Yeah,
and we're all like trying to make sure that we're all ready and trying to make sure that we can bring you guys the best coverage possible. Just because this is like it's genuinely insane to me how like we were just live for the last time for Artemis 2 coverage, and the crew just re-entered and splashed down today, and literally within a couple of hours after of that stream wrapping, boom, we have like major activity in Starbase.
No boom.
What?
No boom.
it's not even been 6 hours since they splashed down, and we're already live for Starship. Yeah,
That's true.
and as you mentioned, Cygnus tomorrow again. The ship testing could be any time within the next 24 hours. These guys,
insane.
we saw that with Booster 19 as well. It's true that it's more common for cryo-proof testing, to be fair, where it's like they roll out and they already start testing the vehicles within the day, basically. It's probably a little bit more unlikely for any kind of engine testing. But still, the possibility that maybe within the next, I don't know, 2 or 3 days, they might do any kind of static fire testing of either ship or the booster or both. It's kind of crazy. And then on top of that, Max, you've got from out there from the East Coast, a new Glen coming up hopefully in the next week as well.
Yep.
Which is crazy. After that, the next week it's like a GPS launch by Falcon 9 and then a Falcon Heavy after that. It's like,
hang on.
when are we going to
say that one more time? Which rocket? Which rocket? Falcon
Heavy?
Yes. A rocket that we like hardly ever see anymore, and we're finally going to get to see it fly for the
Double
first time like a year and a half.
One on LC2 and the other on LC40.
Yes.
That's going to be cool.
Like, how freaking cool is that, dude? Like, is April just like the chosen month for rockets at this point? I probably just jinxed that. I may have just jinxed that so hard. And chat, I'm so sorry if that clip just ages absolutely abysmally. But alas, we carry on. And Ship 39 passing by the Gigabay there in the background, the Starbase Gigabay. Because mind you as well, there are 2 of those. One, there's the one currently being built on your screen now, which is not as done or not as finished as the bay here at the Kennedy Space Center in the area of Hangar X and X2, or more commonly known as the Roberts Road facility here on the Florida Space Coast. Yeah, there's so much happening right now, and well, what's so funny? What are you laughing at?
Just so many nights that we're gonna have here Oh, boy.
I mean,
That
what?
nuclear launch, by the way, that I just mentioned at sunrise, right in the morning, like less than an hour before sunrise or something
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
That's gonna be crazy too.
Hey, by the way, Max,
I know what you're gonna say. Don't say it.
I
Don't
told
say
you
it.
the panel works.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Shh.
Because Speed Racer has sent a 199 super chat saying, I don't know if I should say that word. Is that a bad word? Testola? I don't know. And then Rocket party. I think I said enough parties. Yeah.
Well, Kevin, did you read the back
Thanks,
channel? I
Speed
just
Racer.
said it's working. It's working for me now.
It's been working since we went live.
And you know what, Kevin? I may have had the wrong link up.
Yeah, this is why I asked you for the link to the panel. I was like,
why
yeah.
is this not working? Like, this is not working at all. Like, why?
Thanks,
like,
chat.
I know it breaks, but it shouldn't break this much.
Should we briefly mention that? Hey, we changed our overlays and our back channel panel has changed as well. So it also changed links, and so that's why I got wrong. But yeah,
Yes.
thanks to Jay, by the way, for all that work. I know he's probably asleep right now, but
Yeah, Jay said it would be done by July of last year. But it was live. It was ready for Artemis. That's all that matters, right?
yeah.
And Flight 12.
Kevin, I know we're gonna get personal here. I've seen you guys develop the new overlays for I don't know how long. I know they hadn't caught a booster yet. But
when was the eclipse, Alex?
October
April
2024.
2024. No, April 2024.
Oh, well, there was another one. Okay.
That was when I started working on the overlay project.
Yeah.
And that's not done yet either. So, you're right, Alex. You're right. By the way, Richard became a Pad Rat member. Thanks, Richard.
Is Kevin just taking over hosting at this point? I may as well just,
why not?
Just sign out of comms here and just start getting ready for Cygnus in the morning. Huh?
No, I can't do this by myself, but I can do it for one more because Mr. Fluffy says, does Max need help? Help?
Oh my God. Okay, so for reference, so that is a bit of lore there, I guess, that Fluffy came across because this one night I played Battlefield with EJ and Sawyer, and like one of the most common things I had to say was help, because I kept getting down and nobody would help me. So that's where the help comes from. But alas, not that any of you cared to know. But it's okay. It's fine. It's okay. It's fine.
I'm gonna go back to just producing. I'll come back and bother you later.
That's okay. Thank you, Kevin.
All right, bye.
Okay, bye. Good. Oh, and oh my God, and Ryan was there. Oh, I'm sorry, Ryan. I'm being yelled at in the back channel. Good grief. It's been a long day, long week, long month so far, y'all. Please bear with us and forgive us.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we cannot stress this enough. All of the support, every view counts. So yeah. I was telling Kevin earlier that yes, some projects take a long time. We are very busy, and it's quite hard to actually take a little bit of time off to work on some of the other side projects. There's a lot of things under work right now. So yeah.
There are. And Alex, I honestly could not have said it any better. Like, we are only here because you guys keep showing up and coming back. And it has been, or it is, just an absolute pleasure of a lifetime being able to share all of this with you. So thank you very much. And obviously, we're just getting started here because Ship is making its way down Highway 4 right now. This is from, I believe this is from our river lot right now, which has a great view of the production site as a whole, between the Gigabay on your right, Megabay 1 in the center, and Megabay 2 on your left, and also the Rocket Garden there with Booster 12 and Ship 20 for whatever reason. How is that thing still alive?
I don't know.
Genuinely.
It's
I don't know how
by now.
like they opted to scrap SN15. They scrapped oh gosh, what was it? What else did they scrap over there that was like super controversial?
Ship 26, there was like Booster 4 was out there at some point as well.
Yep.
Yeah, so many different ships and boosters, old and new, and all the things in between.
Old and new and old.
Yeah, Booster 17, I think, was also out there for a while.
Yep. And that one didn't have a future ahead of it after Ship 36 went kablooey, unfortunately.
Oh boy.
But I know. Ain't that the truth, Alex? Ain't that the
So
freaking
many
truth?
ships and boosters and so many years covering this.
Ships, boosters, and buildings. Oh my! So, Alex, I want to get back to the Ship 39 testing campaign coming up soon. How do we have we seen any notices posted around Massey's that would indicate that there's an actual static fire test that may be conducted there? Like, I think I was talking to Jerry earlier today, and he brought up something about TFRs.
Yeah, there's one for Massey's, very specifically around the time that this thing is rolling out. There was actually an earlier one, but I guess they didn't roll out the ship on time, as you can see here on your screen. It's now out of the Mega Bay 2, not before. And so yeah, it does seem like they need that little extra airspace, if you will, right? And so they had that TFR out, that temporary flight restriction coming out. And so yeah, that's basically one of the many clues, right? We saw those engines going into Mega Bay 2, the TFR, the fact that it's on the ship static fire stand instead of the new thrust simulator stand or the old one. I think test tank ship 39.1 is still using it or something like that. It's been a while since I've written a Starbase update. You are hosting though, so.
Oh, am I? I didn't. No. It's Starship update now, sir. Starship update.
Starship update. Yeah. By the way,
actually, did I just correct Alex on air? Did that really just happen? Oh,
if you don't know, Starship is not just a Starbase anymore because they have a lot more activity in Florida right now, with the second Gigabay out there as well, and hopefully soon a launch from 39A. That'll be cool.
Soon, TM. Yeah, I think so. To give a quick synopsis of where Cape Progress is, the Starship Tower at 39A is coming along well. They just recently finished installing the entirety of the ship QD arm. I think they still have to do some final work there. The launch mount is coming along really well. Obviously, there is no Star Factory yet, nor have they cleared the land for it yet. They're just still waiting on permits in the environmental review for that to be approved before they do. But in the meantime, the big bay over there is still being constructed, and we presume that is going to be storage for vehicles that are barged in initially from Starbase. So we predict that if they are going to attempt to launch from there this year, which we hope they do, we may or may not be seeing some hardware coming in from Starbase. Maybe around summertime is kind of like my guess at this point. We'll have to wait and see, of course. Go ahead. What?
I was gonna say need to borrow. I guess it's more like steal some vehicles out of steel or not steal, whatever. Rob a few ships and boosters. Let's put it that way, right? Out of Starbase, because that's the thing, right? Every single vehicle that comes out of Starbase to go out to the Kennedy Space Center is going to be a vehicle that cannot launch out of Starbase. And so it's going to cut a little bit there. But hey, look, with booster reusability, hopefully, obviously not on Flight 12. We don't expect that at all because it's most likely just going to be a test, like a booster splashdown sort of thing, right? But, once booster reusability is kicking off with version 3, that will make things a little bit more easier for them. But yeah, definitely it's going to be super hard for them to launch this year from KSC, from the Kennedy Space Center, right? But they're working toward that. So we'll see what happens. 39A, it's a bit like about half a year or so behind Pad 2. Lots of tanks still to install on that tank farm. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Every single time they bring new tanks, it's like, is it for SpaceX or somebody else? There are a few other.
I mean, it's been
companies.
it's like the ratio is probably like 4 out of 5 tanks we see delivered, or just hardware in general delivered to here at the KSC or south at the Space Force Gate, kind of by or kind of by Port Canaveral. Those end up either going to Complex 39A or Complex 37, which is of course going to be the main Starship launch and catch hub here on the Space Coast at the at the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. Also, speaking of updates from the Space Coast, as far as we can tell, all of the
There we
tower
go.
segments. Ooh,
Kevin coming
That
clutch
is-
there with SCL.
yep. So on
Space
the
Coast
left side
Live.
of your screen is the mobile launcher, or ML1, on the deck of Launch Complex 39B, where SLS launched from 10 days ago already, which is kind of nuts.
Crazy.
I did like the fastest and slowest 10 days of my life. I swear to God. Then of course on the upper right you have a view of the VAB, or the vehicle assembly building, which is where SLS was stacked, and you can see the wonderful Artemis 2 logo being displayed there below the big NASA meatball, which is always a nice touch. And this may be the last time we actually see it on display, which is kind of crazy because this mission has been years in the making, literally. But in the lower right of your screen, wow.
Lower right, 39A, Starship pad on the right, Falcon 9 pad on the now Falcon Heavy, I guess, on the left. But
Thanks, Kevin. That was impeccable timing. That was wonderful.
now that I mentioned Falcon Heavy, by the way, if you were watching Space Coast Live earlier today, there was a Falcon Heavy side booster rolling out to the pad. Just saying.
Wait, was
they're
there
starting...
actually?
Yep.
I
They
missed
rolled
that.
out.
Oh,
Yeah, B-1072, which flew on GOES-U on that mission. It rolled out to 39A. So yeah,
I've been here
they're
for
already
most.
staging the booster.
Do you remember what time that was at all, by chance?
Well, I have no idea. I have to look it up. Sorry.
Because I've been here for most of the freaking day today, and if I missed that because I was inside working or something, I'm gonna be upset. But alas, no. You know what? I was probably over at Pad 40 earlier, setting up cameras for Cygnus tomorrow or today.
You might
Oh,
have.
geez,
I
today.
think it was around that time.
Dang it. Okay, that's unfortunate. Oh well. Alas, we are continuing to see ship. What?
Around 7 p.m., I think.
7 p.m.
I think.
Oh, okay. Then I was in here listening to the reentry and splashdown coverage for Artemis.
Yeah.
That's what that was then. Okay.
Artemis took priority.
I mean that pretty much had priority over pretty much everything. So I think I'm not going to be kicking myself too hard for that one, I guess. Continuing to see Ship 39 rolling down Highway 4 going west toward the Massey's test site, where it is going to be conducting its static fire test campaign in the very near future. But I want to hit some support really quick. Oh no, I don't even know if I want to display this one. From Pudini with a $5 super chat saying KMR stands for Kevin Max Wrecked. Thanks. Appreciate you, Pudini. Thank you. I'm sure Kevin loves that, by the way. Kevin's just drinking all that in. Beautiful. And from Anthony, also becoming a Pad Rat member as well. Thank you very much, Anthony. We greatly appreciate your support. Kevin saying in the back channel, Kevin is evil laughing. That's funny. So funny. Okay, so I saw somebody mention in chat this was a stubby intro because of how short it was. Yeah, for those who are tuning in now, we chose to go live as ship was about to pull onto Highway 4. We didn't have time for a full intro because the ship was moving really, really fast. So yeah, that would be a stubby intro. Yes. Okay. Ooh, Alex, this is actually a one that I want to dive into with you right now. From Matt is asking, next year will HLS launch from Starbase or from the Cape?
Well, so far what we've heard is that it will be from the Cape, right? Now, missions supporting HLS, if you've read the news, it's going to be many launches to be able to fill that up. So they're going to be launching first the propellant storage Starship, if you will, right? And then a bunch of tankers will go up and fill that up. And then HLS will launch last and sort of do only just one refill, right? It's a lot easier to do that than having to send the tankers directly to HLS in terms of sequencing and whatnot. So all of those launches, not all of them, I do not see all of them happening from the Cape. For example, some of them will probably launch also from Starbase. So while I don't see HLS launching, it does seem like it might be something that they may prefer to launch from the Cape, right?
Yep.
support launches for HLS will probably happen from all of the launch sites. The more the better. But yeah, for next year, I assume they're probably specifically talking Artemis 3, right? For that launch. We'll see what they do. They still haven't nailed down a plan for what they do. It might still be from the Cape anyways.
I mean, my mind immediately goes to the fact that launching from the Cape for borderline anything makes the most sense because they have a much wider corridor to fly from. But that being said, SpaceX was wanting to inquire about two different trajectories that would take it over mainland Florida that they want to explore at some point in the future. I don't know. Was that, Alex, was that an approval or was that something that they're looking into from Starbase?
I believe from an environmental standpoint, it is approved. It is the side of things like, regarding the launch license and things like that, right? Like there's different aspects to the paperwork as to be expected with federal government, to be fair, right? And so you've got like environmental approvals and like airspace stuff and all that. So that side of things is sort of already out the gate. The launch license obviously has not been modified for that kind of launch trajectory. But yeah, one of the things I was mentioning about the plans for Artemis 3, Jared Isaacman and also Dr. Lori Glaze were talking in different press conferences about the possibility that they may have Artemis 3 on a higher orbit, for example. And some of the advantages of a higher orbit over is that you still have to meet the lander, right? So the lander also has to go to a higher orbit. Perhaps if it's Starship, it might need refueling for that, right?
Yeah.
So you can coordinate and you can train the coordination of the launches, for example. Because now you have to launch a tanker or two to refill the lander. Then the lander needs to launch, right? To the depot Starship. Then Orion needs to launch to the lander, right? Like you have all of the coordination. It's not the entire 15 launches, it's only a few of them, right? But you train that coordination. It's got that advantage. The Blue Origin side of things, it also probably will need a couple of launches as well. So you have that. And on reentry, Orion will re-enter faster than a lower orbit, which might be helpful for their new heat shield on Artemis 3. So there's a few trade-offs there. And if that happens, I can see them launching multiple launch sites with Starship.
Yeah. I mean, either way, it takes a lot more fuel. It takes a lot more fuel to get up there, and depending on what propellant margins you're working with, whether it be Starship, New Glenn, SLS, it's maybe a bit more of a headache to get there or stay there, I guess I should say, but also to come back because you have to shave off a lot more speed at that point as well. So, also just invokes a lot more risk because you can't come home as quickly and you're not as close. But that would, I think, provide a lot more thorough of a test for all the hardware involved, which is
definitely better
really,
than around the moon. That's for sure.
100%. Because once you perform TLI, you are committed. Like you are not coming home unless you have the propellant on board to perform just a quick turnaround, which is unlikely, or you wait until you make a loop around the moon on a free return trajectory, which is what Artemis 2 just did. So it's a lot safer. But a bit more of a challenge to perform than doing it in low Earth orbit. But I think the more
high
that we
radiation
can,
environment. I just thought about
exactly.
that too.
Yes, exactly. And I think the more thoroughly that we can test hardware in harsher conditions to further prove their capabilities, I think the better. Because landing on the moon with hardware is not something that you can do half willingly or shortcut. Like it has to be done right or lives are at stake, unfortunately. So I think it's in everyone's best interest to test the hardware as much as they possibly can.
Yeah, it will be funny, thinking about the profile for Artemis 2. It will be funny if they went into a higher orbit, right? And then after docking either to Starship, Blue Moon, or both, then they do that translunar injection and do again a flyby of the moon and come back. Because in theory, if it's a high enough orbit, they might still be able to do sort of like what Artemis 2 did. They went into a high Earth orbit and then went to the moon and back. So that would be funny.
It would have been. Let's continue on with some questions. Actually, so one here from Andrew, and I want to touch on this while we have the chance. While Ship 39 is crossing, I think, is that Remedios Avenue, I think, over there? As it passes there, and
No,
en route to...
That's the
I can't think of
Richardson
the road.
Avenue.
Richardson, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. So doing a quick check-in on this question from Andrew, is a possible double rollout, or is a double rollout still possible? Well, at this point in time, Ship 39 is currently rolling and en route to Massey's and is already a pretty good ways down the road. So while we may get both pieces of hardware rolling, sorry, I'm trying to read the back channel at the same time. While they may roll in the same window, assuming Booster is ready to, obviously we are well past the point of both rolling out at the same time, which would have been an absolutely killer visual, mind you. That would have been awesome. But I would not want it to have been Caesar trying to pick which vehicle to follow on the way to to either Massey's or the launch site. It's like picking one.
Is Caesar following the ship?
I think he is. I think that's why he was on his skateboard. So I think he is going to be following Shipper for as long as he can. But at the moment, with Booster 19, we're still waiting for Mega Bay 1 store to open more than it currently is. Because our last update, I think, was, from what we can see, it's been lifted onto the transport stand. But the door remains mostly closed, so obviously they can't roll until that door is all the way open. And, of course, it isn't right now. So I think the window for both vehicles rolling at the same time it has passed, but the booster still could roll out because the window goes until 4 a.m. Central Time tonight. And mind you, it is only 1:11 a.m. Central right now, so they have a little over 3.5 hours left to go. I'm sorry, 2.5 hours left to go. What? What's so funny?
No, it was a funny crying, I guess. Come on, SpaceX, roll it out already.
I know. Because I know you're tired. I'm tired. I have stuff to prep for in the morning.
Yeah, you have it worse than me because you have to go out there for tomorrow's launch. Yeah.
I've been here. So I've been at the Kennedy Space Center since about like 11 o'clock yesterday morning. I was working on cameras, like my own cameras to prep for remotes. I was working with Jerry to help fix some stuff here, just on our hardware side of the things. And then I went to Pad 40 for remote camera setup, came right back here for Artemis reentry splashdown, and that went on for a while. Then I went to grab something to eat while I could, came back, and then Kevin hopped on, hey, come talk. And I'm like, why? What's up? And of course, ship just rolled out of Mega Bay 2. And of course, here we are. So it's been a long day. But alas, we still have a lot more to come. Alex, do you know offhand how long the journey is from the production site to Massey's on average based on how quickly ships roll?
It tends to take a couple of hours. It's about double the distance than what you see, for example, from the production site to the launch site. I say it's a little bit under double. It's a little bit shorter than double. But still, in terms of time taken, it takes about twice as long. There's a couple more wiggles, I guess, in the road. That's one of the main reasons. But also because there's an actual sort of, they have to turn to Massey's, and then once they go into Massey Way, there's another stretch of road that they need to go through, right? So yeah, in terms of time, at the very least, it's 2 hours, a little bit over 2 hours to go. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously. So I think at this point, when did it begin? Wow, words, English. Words are hard at this hour of the morning. We saw, what time was that when we saw it roll? Was it like 35 or something? 12:35 a.m., something like that? I'm really bad at I'm really bad at keeping track. I think it was somewhere around there.
Let me look when we started. Yeah, we started about 40 minutes. So yeah, 12:35.
Amazing. Yeah, it's honestly kind of alarming how quickly that they're able to move a vehicle of that size on a public road just using SPMTs. Like, that's kind of nuts, I'm gonna say. But of course, like that being said, like we're like here on the Space Coast, we're used to Falcon 9 boosters being transported horizontally via trucks, and those can move pretty quick for what they are. But I think for vehicles of the scale of Starship, whether it be booster ship or ship, I should say, vehicles of that size, cough cough SLS, travel aboard Mobile Launcher 1 and Crawler Transporter 2, which when mounted on Crawler Transporter 2 with the launch vehicle on top of it, has a top speed of, I think it's like 0.7 miles an hour. So it's not exactly blistering pace. It's not like it's far slower than what we are seeing SpaceX do with Ship 39 and also Booster 19 when the time comes. But if you can scroll back through either this stream or past rollout and rollback streams that we've done and just see how quickly that these vehicles can roll. It's kind of alarming, but SpaceX has it down to pretty much a science now at this point with the SPMTs. Ooh, I want to hit this one really quickly from Charles. Saw this one come up. If we want to join the team, how would one go about that? I think I would first. So we have a business email. If you can feel free to reach out there. Business at NASASpaceflight.com. We are always checking that. So send in whatever you can there. We are always looking for people. But we also have a website application, an application site launching pretty soon. So stay tuned for more on that. But besides those, feel free to DM me or DM anyone really on the team, and we can try to get you linked up on the correct track as best as we possibly can from there. Because we are always trying to find people. So yes, please feel free to reach out. We are always looking.
It's gonna be very much needed with all of the activity coming up.
Yeah, actually, I want to hit this one up from the Space Enthusiast.
Is that Ryan?
I don't know. Is it that? No. Is this Ryan? No.
No.
Okay, but
saying you guys
have done so much for us in the last 10 days. Are you sure you haven't died of exhaustion? No. No.
Check on me in 24 hours.
Yeah, right. Like I think now that Orion and Integrity have splashed down in the Pacific, like check on us after like we've come down from the post Artemis 2 crash, because it's kind of strange to be able to talk about the Artemis 2 mission now in past tense. Like that is kind of wild.
Max, what am I gonna do tonight?
I don't know.
I will not have the Artemis 2 feed up. And
oh my God, you're
saying
right.
Good night to the crew like 3 or 4 times before actually saying good night for a final time.
It's kind of like separation anxiety a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, like I need my Artemis 2
so
fix.
fun
Give it to
following
me.
this mission, and now
Dude,
it's like it's gone.
Dude, this Artemis 2 as a whole was one of the most surreal missions I've ever covered, and my launch count now is over 300. I think Artemis 2 is easily I can't say definitively if it was number one, because I have a lot that would contend with a number one, is in my book. But top 5 for sure. But just based on, like, I called it way back in January. I want this thing to push till like early April, just for a daylight window. It did that. It pushed to April 1st, and it launched at the opening of the freaking window on their first attempt launching the vehicle, because of course it pushed a couple of months because of some hardware issues they found during the wet dress and post wet dress rehearsals. And then it's been basically smooth sailing ever since it launched. Like, of course, they've had minor issues with the toilet, which I know we have mentioned a billion times, but we will always talk about it. And of course, we also had the more recent topic of conversation being some helium leaks from the service module itself. But those were, I think, pretty thoroughly covered, and that those were not a direct risk or immediate threat to the crew and the mission mission's overall success. Just everything went overall so smooth, and they were all smiles and just all glee when they splashed down. Like, it was, I mean, also like splashing down in the Pacific, like during sunset, being choppered onto the deck of a U.S. naval, I almost said aircraft carrier. It's not an aircraft carrier. just a naval a ship, a naval ship, like in the light they were, that was like full on Top Gun Maverick. Like that was just like you couldn't write that any better. And
Yeah.
Artemis 2 has just been filled with so many moments like that, and overall it went so well. That one is going to stick with me until I think the day I die. Like that is going to be marvelous. Hey, CSI Starbase is in chat saying marine asset. What's up, Zach? How
Yeah.
you doing, dude? A marine asset. I wanted to say asset vessel. Vessel is the word I'm looking for. Vessel. Good grief. But alas, yes, it's been a wild time, and it could not be. Go ahead.
It's gonna be crazy when Artemis 3. I know. Look, it's not going to the moon. It's not gonna land.
Yep.
But we're gonna see those landers. I really hope it's actually both landers. I have my hopes because I want to see also Blue getting their stuff ready and also getting a second lander. Like, how cool will it be that the next time we go back to the moon, there'll be 2 giant landers, like skyscraper-sized landers, going to the moon with ample room for the crews to just float around when they are in 0G, to just jog around when they are on the surface. That these landers too will be delivering also the modules for the lunar base. You get a bunch of other robotic landers as well, smaller to big. It's so bonkers. And Artemis 3, seeing, like, when we saw the ICPS views from Orion on day 1, I was just thinking next mission we'll see a Starship on the other side, or Blue Moon, right? It's like that will be mind blowing to me, because it's gonna be like, how in the world are we seeing this thing that we're seeing here rolling out, right? Like,
I know
this kind of vehicle, potentially within a year, it's gonna be in orbit and docked to a crewed spacecraft. I really want to believe. I hope all of these happens in the timelines that they're, proposing and whatnot. I'm always the timeline doomer. You know me. I have big hopes for everything else.
That is someone else on the team. Webby, sorry.
but I have hopes and that. But yeah, you gotta believe. Yeah, I just saw that comment. Yeah.
I mean, dude, you and I both. But I think it's, at least with Starship, it seems a lot more tangible with Starship because we are able to follow its development so much more closely than we are with Blue, because Blue operates very much behind closed doors, whereas here in Starbase we're able to quite literally point cameras at these ships and boosters in question that are in the overall equation for not just HLS but Starship's commercial success in the future. And mind you as well, this is a really good reference point because Starship HLS is going to be based off of Starship version 3 architecture, which is what Ship 39 is. It's the first full version 3 ship, which is why both Ship 39 and Booster 19 are such significant pieces of hardware, in that while Booster 19 is not the very first version 3 booster, that was Booster 18, but that one unzipped itself over at Massey's, they're going to be the first version 3 vehicles to fly. And that is a big milestone, and that SpaceX really needs to work. Like, that is the overall thing. Like, they really need Starship version 3 to work. Like, they cannot afford to have another version 2 mishap like they did at the beginning of last year with Starship version 2 from flights 7 through 9. Like, that is not possible if Starship is going to be successful in terms of HLS and maybe even just commercially in the next 5 or so years. So we wish them all the best. I mean, and we really hope that all of these timelines really hold up, because we are aching for some really good news and to make all of these plans that we have talked about for years and all the renders we've seen into reality finally. Like, nothing would do, I think, humanity any better than that. So cross your fingers, cross your toes, cross everything you got. Ooh. Okay, Alex, I want to hop into this one as well with you. From Sod asking, are these tiles on the front just temporary for just temporary for S39 for tile attachment tests, or are they part of the new version 3 design?
That's one of the big questions, right? We've seen, at least in official renders a few months ago, it shouldn't have any tiles on the leeward side, right? But perhaps there are also tests. It's not the first time that they do tile testing, right? And we've seen that like even not just dedicated to Starship. We've also seen this kind of thing already on Falcon 9 variants, which is crazy that they've tried testing these things also on Falcon 9. But yeah, and look, sometimes it doesn't even need to be about the thermal loads or anything like that. It can be anything about aerodynamics or the vibrations,
Yep.
whatever. Like they just have a lot of these little test tiles every single time they fly. This time it's a lot more. I do want to believe that it's just test tiles and that they don't really need that many tiles on the leeward side. Especially because look, when we've seen the ship re-entries, at least the leeward side, I have not seen. The sides do get cooked a little bit, right? But
Yeah.
some of these patches, for example, are literally like right on the leeward side, like center, very very much
Yeah.
center, not fully, of course, but like really close to the center. And it doesn't seem like they really get that scorched or cooked, but they have the data, they have all the things. We've seen, like, you can have arguments both sides, right? Like it's just testing or it's that they actually need the tiles. I want to believe it's a that it's just much more tiles that they're testing this time around. We have that on the leeward side, not just of the barrel sections, but also on the aft flaps, and yeah, it doesn't seem like it's the entirety of.
I mean, I thought that they would be done with most tile tests after version 2, because version 3 is going to be the first operational variant of Starship, or at least that is the aim. Oh, there's a big but. Alex said but.
Yeah, I have a counter to that. But what if you want the main heat shield, the one that is actually used during reentry,
Yep.
to be clean and not have any tests? Because you actually want to come down with a clean heat shield. Where do you put your test tiles?
Yep. Exactly.
On the leeward, right? Like that could be a way to test the tiles, especially for attachment purposes. Because obviously, again, it doesn't get as hot as the other side, the windward side. But if you wanted to test things like attachments and whatnot, with the launch vibrations or ascent and things like that, that's probably the best place to put a test if you want to run the normal heat shield clean for a clean reentry. Again, this is complete theory, like alarm. We probably need like a special taker or something. It's conspiracy theory time or something like that. I don't know, but whatever. Yeah, it's pretty much complete guess from our point of view.
Yeah, I think. Ooh, nice photo here from Colleen. Looking at. Ooh, is that the silhouette of 39 and ship 40 in the background?
Yep, ship 39 in front, ship 40 on the back. Yeah, so Colleen is also out there, by the way, taking pictures and whatnot. We had the live views from Caesar, but also Colleen is out there taking these pictures.
We have our Starbase team also on this. Gage is not there, unfortunately. Gage was still helping out with stuff in Florida and has some other stuff going on as well. But Colleen and Caesar doing a great job as always. As we see ship 39 continuing down Highway 4, heading off toward Massey's for its static fire test campaign in the near future. But I want to hit actually a bit of support here from Shazbert Toddbot. Hey, what's up, dude? Saying technically, Max, that was the USS John P. Murtha, which is an amphibious transport dock, or LPD, if you're talking about the ship type acronym. I'm just not the most knowledgeable on naval vessels or types. So thank you very much, Shazbert. I greatly appreciate that. But that was the ship that both supported the helicopters that picked up the crew from the front porch, or the raft that was. I know. So there was an inflatable raft that was inflated in front of Orion's main hatch, which the crew all hopped into, which NASA lovingly called the front porch, and then which was later moved away from Orion, and then its crew the crew of 4 was picked up by helicopter and then transported over to the John P. Murtha, and that is also going to be what is going to be securing, or if it hasn't already, Orion from the Pacific Ocean and transported onto dry land. So, yep, that was the big ship that we all saw earlier with the crew hopping out of, and what Orion will be supported by in the very near future, if it hasn't been already. I know Amit in the press conference was saying that they were aiming to have it secured in the next 4 to 5 hours, but that was already what, 3-4 hours ago, something like that. So yeah, that is all more to come. But thank you, Shazbert. I greatly appreciate that.
Speaking of testing tiles, I forgot, because I mentioned Falcon 9, they had a few of those, but also even at McGregor, we're seeing a very similar thing. At least from the looks of it, it was sort of like probably trying to test how the tiles fare when they have like sideways wind, right? Like when the ship is going up and it's sort of, going through max Q and everything, and it's getting all of that air sideways and not straight onto the heat shield, right? It's sort of coming to the side and everything. That is one of the things that is probably driving them a little bit mad, because we see a lot of tiles usually come off during that part of ascent, right? Not only they're rattling with booster underneath and everything, but those aerodynamic forces and everything. So it does seem like they have an actual test area at McGregor to test that kind of thing. And the setup, it sort of looks like, they have like a curved portion of tiles, like sort of imitating like a side of the ship or something like that. And then they blow, like there's this big nozzle thing that they have in front of that place, right? And they seem to be using it to sort of blow out some of the air at high speeds against those tiles, like at an angle. And so it kind of looks like that. So yeah, lots of testing.
Breaking news. Oh,
Starlinks, yeah.
So,
Starlink
and also, by the way,
Vandenberg.
yeah, there was a Starlink launch from Vandenberg within the last hour or so, and of course, they are already deploying these Starlink satellites. Look at this, dude, in space. Okay, isn't that the? Hang on, play it back again. Like, pay attention to the tension rods, which flip up and are caught literally on the exterior of Falcon 9 second stage. Look at this. Hang on, you'll see it in the reflection. Here they come. Here they come, and smack, and they're caught. Look at that! You're seeing that in the freaking reflection of the Starlink satellites, dude.
Velcro.
And the Earth above it.
It's amazing.
Like, space Velcro.
Yep.
Good grief. Like, that's just neat. I just think that's pretty neat. I don't know about you guys. Oh my gosh. Like, even though it's we all moan and groan sometimes about, it's just another Starlink. Starlink launches at 3:00 in the morning. Like that's me. I am.
Max.
What?
The door of Mega Bay 1 is opening.
Uh-oh.
Do we want to show that? Maybe Kevin, if you can cue that up.
I think Kevin may be preparing that in the back channel. Oh my!
There we go.
Oh my gosh, the door's coming up in Mega Bay 1. Oh dear.
It's time for 19.
Oh dear. Booster 19's time to shine is basically here. Well, almost here.
Is Kevin going to change the top left to not Shift 39 when we start seeing
Well, he can't, because we still see ship. We still see ship on the right hand side of the screen. Like, we still have views of it. I think is this the point in time where Caesar pulls a big old U-turn and comes back to the production site to catch Booster rolling out?
I guess.
I mean, Caesar, if you're listening, Brother Bear, Mega Bay 1 door is opening. So do with that information what you will. In the meantime, ship is getting smaller and smaller from the perspective of this camera as it heads downrange toward the Massey's test site for its static fire campaign. So Starbase is, oh my gosh, that is so. I'm just sorry. My eyes keep getting drawn back to Mega Bay 1 and how good those shines look on Booster 19.
Max, we've been live for an hour.
Already?
Yeah.
That's kind of wild. That's actually kind of wild. Wow. Like I don't even know how to follow up with that. Honestly, I don't even know what to say.
Shall we
Time
talk about
flies when
Booster
you're having
19
fun.
as we get ready for its roll? Because it's probably gonna roll.
Oh, and a drone's going up. Look at that on Mega Bay 1.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
And just when
rolling
I
this
thought
thing
we
out.
might have a somewhat, I mean, we were not going to have a short night regardless because of what is coming in the morning with here, at least here on the Space Coast with Cygnus. But yeah, it looks like Booster 19 is getting ready to come out to play. And mind you, as well, they have until 4 a.m. local time, at least in terms of the road closure notices posted to get Booster 19 out to the launch site. Because two were actually posted at the same time. One was posted from the production site to Massey's, and then the what?
I just saw the top left. Everything.
Everything, anything, and everything is happening at once right now, folks.
Everything
this is
everywhere all at once.
Everything, everything, everywhere, all at once. Like this is basically that is the tale of modern day spaceflight. Everything, everywhere, happening at once. At least that's how it feels lately. It's kind of insane. Yeah, Booster 19 is getting ready to come out to play. And mind you, as well, as I was just saying, that there were two road closure notices, one from the production site to Massey's, and then the other from the production site to the launch site. One for ship, one for booster. And of course, they're both heading off for their own separate static fire campaigns, which of course Booster 19 has already partially conducted. But mind you, that was under only maybe 1 second of actual engine power at Pad 2, which is the first test ever there, because with that brand new launch mount design and flame trench design as well. So very exciting stuff. And also, it only had 10 engines mounted at that point as well. And so, and I thought that was pretty impressive enough, even though it was kind of ugly, if I may say so myself. Like it looked kind of like it looked like it was missing teeth. I'll just say that. Like Booster 19 with only 10 engines was not the prettiest. I'll leave it at that. That being said, though, looks like
missing teeth.
Or like a guy who was just finished playing hockey. I don't know. like you know what I mean? Like it was missing so like there was so much space there. It was not great. But as the door of Mega Bay 1 is almost all the way open, we are seeing Ship 39 continuing down Highway 4, getting smaller and smaller in frame. I don't know what Caesar is planning on doing right now. Uh-oh.
Look at the ticker at the end.
Beep. Oh, wow.
You said beep. There you go.
I did say beep. Yes. And that was a reference to our 2410 coverage of the Artemis 2 mission, where in our somewhat hourly updates every day, we had to had to end our updates with beep. Like that just became a thing, and we just roll with it, and that was just the way it was, beep. And that is now the rule of law. Beep, yes, exactly. It's really hard to keep. Yeah, the NSF Quindar tone is just saying the word beep. Like you know what? We should design our own Quindar tone. You think that's a good idea, Alex? Our own Quindar tone. Ryan is already working on enough right now, but I feel like he would enjoy working on that. Our own Quindar tone. I like how that sounds. Maybe. Right, let's go through some more questions here. I saw a really good one from here. Oh, here we go. From Misty asking, why are the G-forces on a Starship re-entry so much lower than conventional capsules like Orion and Dragon? Alex, this question has your name written all over it.
Well, I can give you another example. Look at Shuttle, right? The main reason is just the lift, the way that they use the lift, right? When you are going hypersonic, a lot of things can create lift, even a brick, and so the shuttle also creates lift.
Yes.
That reference is because the shuttle was called the brick with wings, but
the flying brick, yep.
Yeah, the flying brick. Because it created lift. It was horrible at creating lift, but still it created lift. capsules also can create their lift, especially if they
Yep.
have the center of mass sort of to the side and things like that. And then you have a lift vector that you can move and whatever. All right. Going a little bit more specifically to this comment, the whole reason is the way that these re-enter, right? Orion needs to bleed off a lot of the speed, right? So it even has this sort of skip trajectory and everything. As we saw with Artemis 2, it was not as much of a skip. It was still sort of lofted, right? Dragon also does a very similar thing where it sort of tries to use its own lift vector, its own lift force to be able to sustain itself up in the atmosphere. However, capsules are very bad at keeping its lift for a long while. As soon as they slow down beyond a certain point, it's very hard for them to keep that, right? However, if you have much more area and you have much more contact, I guess, to the atmosphere, you retain that lift for longer. And if you have a
booster
wing,
moving?
I doubt that because it's got still the lifter attached at the top.
Oh, does it?
Of the ring?
Okay. Oh, it does. Okay.
Yeah. So it
Anyway,
probably will
sorry.
not move until they remove that. But coming back to what I was mentioning, if you have more area, then you have more lift available for you. Sort of like, bigger wings on airplanes and whatnot. So shuttle had big delta wing. It was able to re-enter basically just a little bit over a G and a half of re-entry acceleration. That also meant that the re-entry was like 30, 40 minutes long, right? It was a long re-entry
Yes,
for the shuttle. It basically crossed if it was landing in Florida, its entry was sort of like sort of center east of the Pacific, right? And it flew over California, Texas, all that, all the way to Florida. And so it was a really and then you've got Starship. It's not it doesn't have the big wings of the shuttle, right? So it is not as aerodynamic and it doesn't have as much lift as the shuttle. So it's a little bit more like a capsule, but it's not all the way like a capsule. It's still it's still big. It's got a lot of area, right? It can use a lot more of that lift in order to be able to maintain itself higher up in the atmosphere. So that means it's not getting as much of
Alex,
like
what is that?
it's not re-entering as fast.
What is that?
I think it's just scaffolding, but yeah, this is a view of the production side. We should see Booster 19 coming out of the main bay. Thanks to this view. I'm imagining this is from Caesar. But yeah, bottom line,
yeah, probably
it can use more of the atmosphere than Orion and Dragon. It's also a long re-entry. It's like 20 minutes for Starship.
It does last a while, doesn't it? I mean, it kind of has to utilize all of that if it wants to have any sort of cross-range capability, like it was able to demonstrate on Flight 12. Because of course, they had some pretty wild banking maneuvers performed by Ship 38 during Flight 12, which was kind of alarming to see. But I think, Starship needs to be able to have more than just a very narrow or very quick reentry, depending on where they want to take it or what they want it to do. But of course, with it being a very blunt, sort of lifting body-esque shape, I think that would obviously come naturally with its shape and size. But also, the reason why we were able to get live views of ship even though it's going through peak heating is because Starship is so big that it punches a big enough hole in the atmosphere and in the plasma to where that these Starlink dishes on its leeward side are able to send a signal through and be picked up by other Starlink satellites to be sent down to the ground. Like that is something unique to Starship, and that the space shuttle didn't have that. Dragon does not have that.
The shuttle did have that. The shuttle, for the first half of the program, it didn't. But the shuttle also created a big enough hole that they were able to transmit through the shadow, I guess, of its own plasma. By the end of the last half of the program, they didn't have any blackout, which was very much appreciated. Because just imagine 40 minutes of blackout.
Yeah, that would be kind of terrifying. I'm not gonna lie. Good grief.
But yeah, they were able to beam back.
I don't even want to think about what 40 minutes of blackout would do I mean, it's different when you're passing by the far side of the moon doing that.
Yeah.
But when you're re-entering the Earth's atmosphere during peak heating, like that's not something you want to be dark for very long. With Orion just yesterday evening.
Imagine STS-1, the first re-entry of the shuttle, 40 minutes of not knowing what is happening to it.
God.
And especially, I think that one in particular actually landed in Edwards. So the entire re-entry was over the Pacific. Like, in order to have any eyes on that thing, you actually had to have, assets out there, aerial and marine assets, in order to be able to actually see what is going on to it. Bonkers. That happened. 80s, man.
No. And
was
then
a different world.
Yeah. And then you compare that to the blackouts experienced during Apollo, which was around 3 minutes or so. And then the blackouts that we normally see from Dragon, which is like, what is that, like 4 minutes-ish?
Yeah, 4 to 5 minutes, yeah.
And then with Orion, we saw just yesterday evening with the return of the Artemis 2 crew and Integrity, that was around 6 minutes and change. I mean, we had a bit more time on board in terms of live views than we thought we would once it reached the plasma, but of course, past a certain point, that hole just closes up and there's not able to be any signal passing through it. So it depends on the reentry profile, depends on the spacecraft size, speed, and a whole bunch of other factors. Just basically a TLDR answer there.
Yeah.
But Starship does have the ability to slow down a lot slower compared to its counterparts, but alas, that's the benefit of a very large size here, folks.
Yeah, and one more note to what I said. So the reason why they did have blackouts at the beginning of the space shuttle program is because the space shuttle was used to launch what is, or at least the beginnings of what is the tracking data and relay satellite system, TDRS, which, in fact, we remember Challenger and everything. It was actually carried for that constellation at the time, the third satellite, if I'm not mistaken, for that constellation. So once that constellation was launched and all of these satellites were up there, I think there was like 4 or 5 of them by the time they started actually using it to be able to transmit through the plasma, or at least through the shadow of the plasma for reentry. So yeah, blackouts were not a thing after that went up. Same thing with Starlink. After Starlink is up, right, now we don't have any blackouts during Starship reentry. You will still get them for Dragon, unfortunately.
But the long-term goal is for Starship to phase out Dragon. And I think that Dragon does not fit the long-term goals of what SpaceX wants to do with obviously either cargo or personnel in the long term. So the quicker that they can, I guess, phase out Dragon in SpaceX's eyes, the better. So, Kevin is typing in the back channel saying, "Remember when I said everything?"
Oh dear.
What else, Kevin? What else? What am I missing here?
What's going on?
This is a view from what?
Tank farm spooling up.
Kevin's saying the tank farm spooling up.
I don't see anything. This is too far away.
venting. I see venting. So if you look at the big bright white light there, that's kind of horizontal. There's some venting there at the very top, just above the light.
Is that the methane reclaimers? I don't remember now.
I think it is. Or are those more in the shadows on the right hand side there? Those two tall tanks. Good grief, man! Is anything not happening tonight?
Yeah, I will ignore it for the most part. There's no vehicle on the pad, so whatever does whatever the tank farm wants to do, it can do whatever. I don't care. We need to see this first out there.
Yeah, there isn't a vehicle out there yet.
Exactly.
The tank farm really can't do anything except support either itself in terms of transferring propellants from one tank to another or something along those lines. It can't really do much, but just weird to see so much activity happening at once. As we see Ship 39 beginning to disappear into the South Texas haze there on its way to Massey's, and Booster 19 is getting ready to come out to play here hopefully soon. As both vehicles are getting ready for their very own static fire campaigns. So
excuse me.
Yes.
I am the cloud reporter. Do you think I'm going to ignore clouds?
Maybe.
Actually, Kevin, those weren't actually clouds.
They were clouds.
Your point being?
I can't ignore them. I have to show them.
He did show them. He did
I
show
did.
them.
I did. And you know what? I can show them again. And we're getting a camera pointed at them. We just saw it, so we had to show it.
And of course, these views coming from the very top of the Margaritaville Hotel located in South Padre Island, and they could not be more gracious enough to allow us to have cameras there. So thank you very much to them.
Yes, thank you, Margaritaville. Bye.
Yes.
I'm going back to produce. Bye.
Okay, bye, Kevin. Bye. Well, he says that until he comes back and says something else.
I mean, I'll be back. A copy of my joy.
I'll be back. Kevin Michael Reed, 2026. All right, I'm going to run through some support really quickly while we have a moment, while ship is beginning to just disappear into the horizon and ship or booster getting ready to come out. I don't even know how to pronounce this. This username becoming a Padrat member. I'm so sorry. I have no idea how to pronounce that. I'm sorry, but thank you very much for becoming a Padrat member. Also, we have Noah with a super chat here asking, when do you think the booster and ship will static fire? Tomorrow? We need this ASAP. We do need this ASAP. But Alex, as we covered, oh my gosh, he's showing the clouds again. Tank farm is somewhat alive. Oh my gosh. Good grief. But going back to the question, Alex, we covered it a little bit at the beginning of the stream in terms of what is happening with ship. What do we expect timeline-wise for ship and then also for booster?
Well, the booster is probably a lot easier to explain because we actually have road closures for that because it's being tested at the pad, right? And so the only thing that can access the pad is Highway 4. So whenever they test something at the pad, they need to close the road in order to, protect the public from getting into a place that they probably don't want to go to, right? Well, they shouldn't go to, I should say, because I know a few people that will probably try and go down the road to see a static fire up close. But yeah, so the primary window right now for that, you can see there those that dashboard, so to speak, of the different beach access status and the road updates and all that on the City of Starbase website. And so that one, you can see on the left, it shows that the primary closure should be on April 12th. That will be this Sunday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So a 12-hour window. And then there are backups for the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th. So anywhere on those dates, we should expect any sort of booster testing at the pad. The ship testing is a lot more complicated because there's closures for that one, but the only road that gets closed is Massey. It's a Massey Way. That road is private, basically, right? And so there's no road closures being published or anything like that. Highway 4 does not get closed for that sort of operation, which is the main reason why they had Masseys in the first place. They can test, they can do cryo testing of both ship and booster, test tanks. So many test tanks at Massey's these days.
So many test tanks.
Yeah, right. They can do static fires of the ship as well. They have not yet done any kind of booster test, and I would not think that, at least in the small footprint that they have at Massey's, that will be possible. It's quite a small area, to be honest. And the booster is quite powerful. You can see how big the launch pad area is already.
Quite powerful?
Yeah, it's let's say, yeah.
I don't think Massey's could handle a booster, even at idle power with all engines running. Like, that's how powerful Super Heavy is at its lowest power setting, which is kind of nuts.
Yeah. On the flip side, we get closer tests of those on the pad because we can
100%.
set our cameras a lot closer.
100%. I agree. But that's also what they actually had to do at the old launch mount at Pad 1 was when they wanted to static fire with all 33 engines, they had to fire them at their lowest possible thrust level to reduce risk of damage and wear to the actual hold-down clamps on the launch mount itself, because those, of course, were not meant to hold a vehicle in place with the engines running for a long period of time, let alone without a ship on top of it and just with partially filled fuel tanks. So, yeah, I think firing a booster over at Massey's would just be a bad idea.
So all of this to say, booster, we have a bit more idea of when testing might happen because there are those road closures. Ship, we have no idea. We'll just take a look one of the best ways that you can know about these things, first of all, hang around Starbase Live. You'll have a lot of people in chat telling you
Yep.
whether there's a road closure and whatnot. Subscribe, like, all the things, right? We'll go live whenever they test either ship or booster or both, because you never know. They've done that in the past already, where they tested a booster and a ship in the same window. And then also our people in the field, both Colleen and also Cesar, are out there in the field basically for all day, obviously, except for sleep, right? And so they can pass by, for example, Massey Way, and they'll see the police, and if that police is out there, it's probably because of testing, and that could be ship 39, right? And so that's the sort of thing that might give us a clue when that's or ship 39. Lots of different things for Booster 19. You'll also see as well a road closure being set up for Highway 4, right? So
Yep.
many different ways to check on that. Social media as well. I should give a shout out, because otherwise LSR and team, right? It's gonna be like also on the socials. So yeah, also on the socials. Definitely, if you keep tabs on all of that, you will know.
Hopefully soon. Cross your fingers, cross your toes, cross everything you got, folks. Really good question here from Ben Newberry. And I think this is one that many people are wondering right now, especially with Static Fire coming up. This may have been asked already, but assuming testing goes well, are we thinking launch in early May? Also saw Artemis 2 at Coco and cried happiness, and cried again when they splashed down. Incredible. Same. I tried to hold it back as much as I could during re-entry and splashdown, but alas, yes, same. So Alex,
They got me
what are we
crying
thinking in terms of
on the Artemis
dude?
stream.
It's been a ride, and that ride is over. Which is wild to say. Jeez, but anyway, this is a Starbase stream and a Starship stream. So Starship. When are we thinking launch, Alex? Like, what's your current best prediction?
I'm starting to think it's probably going to be late. And the main reason for this is they seem to be
late
taking
May?
it. Yeah, but hear me out.
Ooh.
So the reason why I'm saying this is because it seems like they're taking it very methodical, right? Every single time we've seen any of these vehicles come out from base, right? We saw Ship 39 come out for cryo and then come back. Then now we've seen it again for fire. The amount of different tweaks and works and things that they have done to the ship ever since we last saw it, mind you, was more than a month ago. I'm seeing here, shout out to Ryan Weber. He's got a really nice spreadsheet for this. It rolled back to the Mega Bay on March 8th. So it's a little bit over a month ago that it was rolled to Mega Bay 2. I want to believe it's shorter than that once it comes back after static fire test, but it seems like they really are taking very methodically and trying to get through all of the static fire testing, all of the testing, and then putting all of the hardware and final touches, basically. So I think it's going to be probably another 2 or 3 weeks at the very least, like early April, maybe mid-April even, until we see the vehicles out there on the pad. And then they're probably going to do testing with a full stack, perhaps even like 2 different propellant load tests or something like that. Maybe one partial and then another full. Maybe they go straight into a wet dread. I don't know, right? But regardless, I think when you take into account, taking it slow and putting everything together, it can probably be late May. That is not to say they're still also working on all of the boosters we see there. Ship 40 inside Mega Bay 2, right in the center stand there. It's not like just because I'm saying late May, it's like they're taking it slow all across, right? It's just that this first launch, they're taking it very methodically, trying to go through every step and everything. It's quite fast still compared to the other companies, I guess I should say. And they're still working on many other vehicles down the line. I know, we covered this on every Starship update. They've got ship nose cones there in the Star Factory.
Yep.
Up to like what, ship 48, 49 are visible, right? Up to all that. And boosters, we already seen booster 20, the aft or at least the aft half of the booster is already complete. And They are already putting, or soon to be putting together the top half. So, yeah, they're not stopping. I'm just saying that for this first launch in particular, they seem to care, but we'll see.
I think if I could weigh my opinion there on
No,
on the
you
matter,
can't.
okay, well, moving on.
Sorry.
No, you
Go
cannot.
ahead.
I think I would like to believe the first week of May is still possible, but I think that is heavily dependent on every bit of testing with both of these vehicles, Booster 19 and Ship 39, going as smoothly as they possibly could on the first try, which is, given that they are the first flight vehicles in the version 3 era, I wouldn't necessarily put that expectation on them, considering how much more testing SpaceX wants to conduct with them. So, I think second week of May may be more, or May is second week of May might be more likely. I would like to say that end of May is a bit pessimistic, but I don't know. But I think the consensus between Alex and I is it's gonna be May.
I knew you were going to say that.
You had to just drop it, but Ben, thank you very much for your support and great question. I'm so glad that you got to see Artemis, because that was an absolute treat. Okay, question here from Solid Rocket Candy. Oh God, that's a great name. How do y'all think they will display Booster 12, Alex?
I have no idea, to be honest. It might be horizontal. It's probably oh my god. I'm thinking of like when you buy food or something, and it's sort of best served by or something like that, right? Or something like that. Best displayed horizontal. Like that, right? I don't know. I feel like it makes a lot more sense of how big it is, because vertical, yes, it gives you the sense of like how tall it is, but also how wide it is. I don't think you really get that sense until it's horizontal. Having only seen one single rocket booster in my life in person, and it was horizontal, it really gave me a lot of sense of like both how long it was and how wide it is. That was B1021 in Colorado. It was crazy to see that. And it was just a Falcon 9.
You didn't see 1023 here? The side core?
No, I didn't get to see that.
Oh no!
I did get to see a booster vertical, and then another one horizontal port when I went there. That was B1062, the one horizontal rip. But yeah, and then the vertical one was for I think it was Turksat 6A or something. I don't know. But yeah. I saw that one with Kevin, by the way. Hi, Kevin. I still remember that night in port.
Gosh. I forgot you and him were here at the same time.
Yeah, right? That was crazy.
That's kind of scary. But thank you very much. Horizontally, and Booster 12 might be good practice for that, even though it is an older design of boosters now. But I don't know. I think we'll have to wait and see. But I think horizontal is by far and away I think that's what makes the most sense. see here. Ooh, okay. So this is also kind of getting into the weeds here. Oh, not weeds, but the hypothetical weeds. From the Real Curbinator. Question here from the Real Curbinator. How long of a gap between Flight 12 and Flight 13 will there be? It could either be like 3 weeks, depending on vehicle readiness, like Booster 20 and Ship 40, or it could be like 2 months. I don't know. We haven't seen Ship 40 roll out yet. That is still in the process of being worked on. We haven't seen Booster 20 being rolled out yet for cryo. Neither vehicle has seen testing of any kind. They're still in Mega Bay 1 and Mega Bay 2. I think it's going to be more realistically probably like a month and a half, 2 months. Although a week's time period would also be kind of cool. But Alex, what do you think?
Based at least on where Ship 40 and Booster 20 stand right now, I'm not gonna say like a term. Like I think it's gonna depend more on like Flight 12, right? And I really don't see Flight 13 being too fast if it launches. If Flight 12 is in May, I don't see Flight 13 being too fast afterwards. Because right now, based on Booster 20 and Ship 40's progress, I see that maybe being July, maybe August for a launch of Flight 13, which could be up to 2 months or 3 months. Yeah.
Dog.
But look, like, this is the point. Like, it would still be, 2 or 3 months afterwards? We've not had a launch in 6 months. It's still faster. By half.
I know.
Right? It's like it's twice as fast. And then you can have, like, call me in like a month or two if they start stacking Ship 41 in Mega Bay 2 and, Booster 21 in Mega Bay 1, then maybe we'll see, Flight 14, I don't know, September or October, right? But like that is the progression of like you start slow, but then you start kicking and sort of, going faster. And so first turnaround, first sort of, preparation for the first V3 launch, 7 months or so, right? Then you've got 6 months or, 2 or 3 months, right? A month maybe for Flight 14. I think that's probably going to be the case here. We saw that with version 1 as well. When they went to flights 5 and 6, the turnaround was like 40 days, a little bit over a month, basically. After having a few
5 and 6 was
launches.
a crazy short turnaround. Yeah.
But because they already had the ship and booster ready to go, right? So like that was one benefit.
Yep.
And so they still need to get to that point where boosters and ships are just waiting on the next flight to happen until you actually see a much faster cadence. I think that's probably going to be a few flights into version 3. Again, mostly because they just stacked Ship 40 basically. It was a few weeks ago, but by all means it was just last week basically, right? In relative terms, and Booster 20 is not even right, and no. Booster 19 was the fastest to be stacked. The one that we're seeing there, it was stacked by Christmas Eve in 2025.
Yeah,
it's April, right? It's 4 months later.
God,
but it's the first one. It's the first one. Imagine Booster 20. They just stacked it today. Yep. Say they have that. Like they move from 4 months to 2 months until we see Booster 20 out there on the path for a static fire test campaign of all of its 33 engines. That's June. Why shouldn't I think it's probably going to be July for Flight 13? I think there's a good reasoning there. And later missions will be faster. That's how you work on an exponential, right? It's how it works.
I mean, yeah, but okay. So to kind of piggyback off of that really quick, Alex, how many times do you think they'll fly overall this year? Because they kind of have to fly a lot to to get done what they want to get done.
Oh, do I want to say the fun number? No, I'm gonna say 8. No. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say the other 2 numbers.
Oh God.
But it could be the other 2 numbers, to be honest. But yeah, it's because of that, because I see the progression, right?
So you think they're gonna fly? I'm just gonna say it 6 or 7 times.
Yeah.
With the first being in May.
Yeah, why not?
That's bold.
If you arrive to a monthly cadence in September,
Yeah.
and that's already 3 launches, then you have October, November, December. That's 6 launches.
Okay, suddenly that doesn't seem too unrealistic.
Right?
When you put it like that, actually, yeah.
And if they launch from 39A, maybe you get a 7th. I don't know.
And
if they are
even
very
though-
lucky to do a very fast turnaround at first, then you may even get an
Right.
8th. I don't know. But like 6, 7.
You
There you go.
you know what? Also, I mean, but also as well, like even if they aren't that far ahead in production with those boosters that far down the line, I think they could recover the first version 3 booster as early as Flight 13, and then refly that,
And then you have a much faster turnaround then.
Exactly, but if all goes well with ship, on Flight 12 and 13 in terms of flight accuracy, and mind you, also Flight 13 it looks to be the first one that's going to go orbital, which is a whole different topic right now. That also helps your cadence a lot if you want to, assuming you catch ship successfully on Flight 14, if you want to refly that at some point with hardware already. It's not ready to go. It still has to be refurbed and checked over, but it's already built.
Yeah.
So, yeah, something that doesn't seem too unrealistic. It's just a slow start to the year, which has been kind of maddening to go through, as many of us have been.
Yeah. Then following my whole train of thought that I was trying to explain here, like, yeah, you got Flight 12, say May or something like that. Flight 13, July, August. Then you've got, I don't know, Flight 14 around September, maybe. Let's hope. If everything goes well, like this is like if everything goes well. You have to put at the front of all of this. It's like if everything goes well, right? And the lessons that they learn are little lessons here and there. Sort of like when they went to flights 4, 5, 6, and everything, where it was just little tweaks here and there and whatnot to those missions. Then yeah, I can see that happening, right? I can see, that going basically down to a monthly cadence by Flight 14 or 15, because by that time they'll probably have a booster caught, right? That they can refly. I don't know, like catch.
I think
Flight 13's booster and refly it on Flight 15 or something.
I think Kevin wants you to point something out.
Yeah. Yeah, lift is going up. They're gonna prepare for the roll of Booster 19. I don't know how long it'll take to roll out. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they have just under 2 hours left in the closure window. But that being said, though, we have seen them roll outside of window parameters before, so it wouldn't be the most entirely surprising thing to see that happening. But I think from this point forward, even though Mega Bay 1's door is open, it may still be a bit more time before we see it roll down the road, let alone seeing it roll out of Mega Bay 1 at all for the first time, because they kind of have to wiggle it out to avoid the grid fins themselves from impacting the edge of the door opening there. So, yeah, I think we're still a bit of time away from that, but we'll have to wait and see. But this boom lift going up and having a look in preparation for a move there is certainly a good sign in trending in the right direction. But in the meantime, we're going to hit some more questions here. Actually, I want to hit this super chat from Deck Tech with a rather interesting message. I love NSF. Please marry me. That's literally how it opens.
What?
Yeah. Please marry. Yes. I'm not even joking. It's on your screen. You can read it. That is how the question opens.
I don't think you can do that.
Well, the heart of the question, or the question is here listed. Do you think version 3 of Starship will have a similar fate to version 2 or a more successful pathway? I think I can handle that first, in that SpaceX cannot afford to have version 3 SpaceX cannot afford to have version 3 start life like version 2 did if if Starship is going to be successful at all, let alone with the HLS program. SpaceX cannot afford for that to happen, and I think that is why we have seen them take a more methodical approach to testing, as we have seen them do before, right? So no, I don't think they're going to, mostly because one, they cannot afford to have that happen, and two, the methods of practice that we have seen them doing, both with testing and just general assembly in at all, have been evident that they are taking or that they are being much more thorough with their assembly to make sure that everything is done right the first time as well as they possibly can. Alex, I'm not sure if there's anything more that you want to add on to that.
Yeah, I want to believe that, all of the small scale testing and whatnot will have worked, right? That
Yep.
it will be successful in sort of trying to catch all of the little weird things that may happen, right? With version 3, there's still a lot of risk. I gotta say, it's not straightforward that Flight 12 will be successful.
Yep.
But we'll see. We'll see. I'm really going with that sort of thought of, let's see what happens, right? And if they nail that with both vehicles, that will be really, really great for them, because it will save them so many other test flights, right, down the line. Because whatever they don't get to do on Flight 12, they have to repeat it on Flight 13, and until
Yep.
they get it done, right? And then after that, try to go to orbit, all of the stones that they need to hit from here until, whatever other end goals they have. Basically, big ticket items of deploying Starlink satellites, supporting Artemis with HLS, their own lunar programs and their own Mars program. Of course, they have all of these little things, things going out left, right, and center for Starship. And so, yeah, we'll see. I want to believe that all of these many test tanks that we have seen will work out in the end. I want to point out that just look at the turnaround, right, of how long it's taken them after they ditched, so to speak, version 2 to go to version 3. It's taken them basically more than 7 months by now, I'm saying. Whereas for version 2 to version 3 it was 58 days, less than 2 months, right? Yes, it's both booster and ship this time around. They had boosters ready to go for version 2 of the ship. But I still think, the longer times that they're taking, it's at least sort of a reason to believe. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
The time and work, of course, because it's not like they're sitting around and rolling their thumbs and, not doing anything.
Yeah. Fair. Yeah. I just hope it goes well. I think that's the bottom line there. I think SpaceX needs it to go well, and it would just look a lot cooler if it did. I think that's the general consensus there. Running through some more support really quickly from Real Pope Leo with a super chat saying, nice name by the way, HLS, if you can hear us, please show yourself, HLS. Yeah, please, seriously.
Blink twice.
Blink twice, HLS, if you're listening, please. I think to touch on that really quickly, I think the one nose cone we haven't seen in a while is Ship 44. That could be because it's being pulled for HLS stuff. They could have pulled it off the line to do some. I don't know. Like we all we know is that we have not seen this nose cone since like September of last year, which is a long time ago now. So either it's being prepped for HLS stuff, or they found some things like super wrong with it and they pulled it off and scrapped it. I don't know. But yes, HLS hardware, please show yourself. Also, Bobby becoming a Pad Rat member. Thank you very much, Bobby. Also, a £4.99 super chat here from Telstar86. Hey, it's good to see you, dude. Are the Gigabay doors going to be wider so they can easily roll vehicles out without risking hitting grid fins or flaps? I think yes. Yep. I think because the current problem they have with the version 3 boosters is that the version 3 boosters were built with the Gigabay dimensions in mind, which is obviously much taller. It's much longer and wider, but the doors themselves are also wider as well to fit the booster out with the longer and wider grid fins without any obstruction or risk of damage. So
We still have the Caesar feed. I'm sorry, Kevin, for backseating. There we go.
We do.
See, that's how wide it is. That's a transfer aisle on Gigabay.
yeah, and of course one aisle will be used for boosters. The others will be used for ships. We're not quite sure which is which yet. I would like to know if there are going to be any indications of what is going to be what. I don't know at this point. It's not finished enough to give any real signs of what.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's actually mixed, and the way that they arranged it. Yeah, because the way that it seems to be arranged, based on what we've seen, is that the transfer aisle sort of closest to the factory will be, or at least the row of stands closest to the factory on the transfer aisle closest to the factory. That is probably going to be sort of turntable sort of stuff, right, where they stack boosters and ships, and then the rest is sort of going to be for outfitting. Like it's sort of looking like that, basically on like the kind of hardware and connections to the Star Factory that we're seeing. The Star Factory is about to be connected to the Gigabit. They're already getting that prepared for that connection. So it's looking like it's going to be more, instead of like ships and boosters one side or the other, it's probably going to be sort of mixed together, right? And you're going to have welding on one side, preparations on the other, refurbishment on the other, sort of like, mixed and matching of different parts of the life of these vehicles, basically. Which probably makes more sense from a production standpoint, because you have like steps on the production line, right?
Yeah, but I think I don't know. My OCD is getting triggered by both bays being missed with super heavy and ship hardware. I don't like that. I think just from an organizational standpoint, I don't like that, but also I don't work in production. I don't work at SpaceX. I don't know how they like to do things internally. So maybe the way they want to do it, if that does end up being the case, there is probably a reason behind it, and I'm just not privy to it, and I can't see it. So alas, people at SpaceX know what they're doing. Like, that's the consensus here.
Yeah, it probably is down to like, because right now the way that the mega bays are set up, it's something that is set up for a prototyping production, like when you try to figure out production, right, sort of thing, rather than actual full-on serial production and things like that. As much as they're supposed to be serial numbers and all that, it's still so far away from their goal of like, I don't know, like 1,000 ships every year or something like that, right? So far away. They're still, I wouldn't even be surprised if this Gigabay layout changes in the future as well. Like, they're still learning, right? And and once, so just to put an example, for example, when they do boosters on Megabay 1, you've got one turntable for the top part, sort of first. They do the bottom part first, then they put in another turntable to weld the aft end, the engine section. Then they do the top half, then they move the top half to the other. Like, it's a really tedious process, really weird process. In between, you have to put like, part of the process also involves having to put transfer tube, you have to put the landing tanks and everything. It's a real mess, right? And so like, if you can cut through some of those, if you can not have to do any of that, it gets to a point where it's probably easier. For example, one of the things that it probably may be easier to do, or should I say not easier, but perhaps possible once you get a Gigabay instead of a Megabay. You know how they do the ship's top bottom, right?
Yeah.
They start with a nose cone. Maybe that could be possible with the size of the Gigabay for a booster, because the problem right now is that you cannot really install that huge transfer tube right now. They have to thread that through the common dome in order to be able to install it, right? But if you could, in theory, have like the top of that transfer tube already pre-installed on the common dome, and you just keep stacking underneath, and then you put the rest of the transfer tube later, you get so much time saved because you don't have to need, like, you don't need 2 turntables, right? You just need 1, which is what ships use. And
Yeah.
so that could be a way, for example, of speeding up the boosters to half gigabay up and running.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I don't hate that. I mean, then again, it is also an Alex answer, and Alex answers do tend to make a lot of sense.
Of course.
So.
Yeah.
Of course. Running through another super chat here from Chris W. Hey, how's it going, dude? For Max and Alex to get some more caffeine flavored products, yes.
I
Need more
cannot
of
take
those.
any caffeine right now, but sure. Thank you.
Yeah, I think at this point, caffeine would be nice right now, I think. But I surprisingly feel, I don't want to jinx it. Is there any wood around here? I'll just knock on the table.
My
For
desk
being
is
the
full.
hour that it is, I don't feel as crappy as I thought I might. But alas. But thank you, Chris. I greatly appreciate it. And then also from Converted Hydrogen. Hey, I remember seeing you during the or hearing about you in the Artemis 2 splashdown stream. How's it going, dude? Gifting 5 more Red Team memberships. Let's go. Thank you very much. That is greatly appreciated. I think it is also worth noting at this point, y'all, that Ship 39 is on Massey's way and is nearly at the actual test site now. So just in that time, in a little under 2 hours, Ship has made its way from the production site and is already a good way down Massey's way before making its way to the static fire stand to conduct its very own static fire campaign over at Massey's with all 6 installed Raptor 3 engines, 3 sea level, and 3 vacuum optimized. Meanwhile, over in Mega Bay 1, as you can see in the right middle side of your screen, the Mega Bay 1 door is open, and there is a boom lift currently up there with some workers doing some final checkouts and some final work being done with it before they end up trying to wiggle it out of the Mega Bay 1 doors and roll it out toward the launch site where it will conduct its own static fire campaign with all 33 installed Raptor 3 engines, the first booster to do so. And also, Ship 39 would also be the first to do so with its 6 Raptor 3 engines, because, of course, both vehicles are the first flight hardware of version 3 vehicles. Well, I say that Booster 19 technically is not Booster 18 was going to be, but Booster 18 unzipped itself very early in its lifespan, so I almost don't want to count it. But Booster 19 got engines before Booster 18 did, alas. Holy crap, I just saw some support come in here from Bideford. Hey! What's up, Bideford? How's it going? Saying, here we go again. No sleep. Greetings, Alex and Max. Starbase is coming alive finally. Thanks for going without sleep. Here is to a successful SF static fire for both ship and booster. Agreed. Thank you so much, Bideford. A name that we see around here quite often. We are always incredibly grateful to see you around and for your support, Bideford. So thank you very much. Okay, I think worth pointing out at this point, Alex, we don't, given the point of where we see Booster 19 at currently with the workers still on it, I think it's safe to presume that there is still some time left before that begins to roll, right?
Yeah, they seem to be disconnecting now the lifter there from the hot staging ring. But of course, it may still be a little while. They have about an hour and a half into that road closure window left. Probably gonna have to extend that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, Booster 19 might still take a little.
Yeah, and I think because of that point, and with Ship nearly being at Massey's now, we are going to wrap up our dedicated coverage of the rollout tonight and the road closure for what was supposed to be, or what we thought was going to be, a double vehicle roll between Booster 19 and Ship 39, but only Ship 39 has seen the road at this point. And with there only being an hour and a half left in the closure, I think we are going to begin to wrap coverage here and throw you guys over to Starbase Live, which is where you can see 24/7 coverage from all of our cameras around the Starbase facility, looking at everything from the launch site to Massey's to the production site, just like views that you see here right now. And when Booster 19 begins to roll, we will have our cameras all over it. So I want to first thank Alex for coming on at this very, very early morning. To talk about some more Starship stuff, immediately pivoting from Artemis 2 coverage. Alex, thank you very much.
Yeah, it's 9:30 here, a.m. in Spain. It's plenty daylight out and everything. Yeah,
Not yet
it's-
for us here, but
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
But yeah, so you got a launch to cover again. We're talking about all of the things that we're gonna cover. Rollout of Booster 19 will be taking over on Starbase Live. I don't know if we're gonna have any sort of impromptu Raptor side. I'm sure though that by the time they lift, they're probably gonna lift later, like in the day, in this Saturday. So probably by the time it's daylight, and maybe some
Yep.
voices available for that, from a Starbase Live coverage, right? So perhaps, hey, stay tuned. Maybe there's like an impromptu Raptor side of sorts. We'll have, of course, Northrop Grumman, Cygnus, NG24, right? You're gonna be out there, Max, with the
Indeed.
crew, and then hopefully some testing of these vehicles in the next few days. As we said before, testing for Booster 19, we do know at least that the earliest will be this Sunday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Depends on their timings, right? How long it takes for them to get ready. Ship is a little bit more shaky, I guess, but also in the next few days. We'll see when that happens, so stay tuned.
Indeed. And also behind the scenes, pushing the buttons and pulling the levers was the one and only Kevin Michael Reed, making the stream do streaming things, and also out in the field for us tonight with some live cameras or a live camera was Caesar. So thank you very much, everyone, for your efforts in the live views tonight. My name is Max Evans. I have been your host for this evening. I am a spaceflight content producer here at NSF, and we will see you guys again in actually just a few hours for the launch of Falcon 9 and Cygnus. So thank you very much, everyone. We will see you all again soon.
And here we go.
There's the deluge. Here's ignition.
Roger, roll, Atlantis. Doubling up.
Did it just do a curble?
Back to the moon and beyond.
Put that in the big bag, Gino.
Back at home, we all have a lot of work to do, but from here, it sure looks like a perfect flow.
Propulsion continues to be nominal.
We did have an observation.
Equinox.
343 unfolds to go.
It's orange.
Water towers can fly! Bingo! Right in the center. Where's Jacqueline? There it is!
That was surreal.
That's not what we want to see.
No!
Oh my God.
Yikes. You bet. We don't need any more of these.